when one says that I sense it, what is happening?
It's perceived through the mind.
Perceived through the mind.
So the more the mind is refined, purified, the more sensitive you can be for vibration. Because it's more subtle. And it's like people can recognize on the objective, yet every object has an energy around it which is more subtle, that is vibrating. So how come same person, different people take the same ingredients and they get different, the food would be totally different. It's because their vibration is put into the food. It's the vibration they put into the food, that each one has its own unique vibration that comes into the food from the state of mind they are at, the level of being present or presence. Like when one of the Swamaji used to stay at a friend at Anatos, if there would be too much going on in the kitchen, he said, the food is chaotic, I don't touch the food. He told her, be alone, be totally present, totally focused, bring your energy into the food, bring the presence into the food, then the food is totally vibrating different. Now, if we look at water, water has memory. Like, they done different studies in tests in Germany and Austria and they see that the moment the person touches the bottle, it gets the memory, the water gets the vibration of that person. Instantaneously, it just touches the bottle.
So it doesn't matter the quality of the water because the energy is going to go into it anyhow, right?
Yeah, you can affect the quality of the
quality of the water.
If you are chaotic, the water becomes chaotic.
Yeah. The thing is that the quality of the water might be measured by its the less dense it is, the more close it is to its natural, the way it's coming up from the earth, from a spring. The more dense it is, means it traveled more, it got a lot of impressions, so it has more memory, so it has more clusters. So we go back, the more the mind is purified, the more sensitive it is. What people fail to understand, when the mind, some people, their mind is sensitive, means they recognize a lot of things and they link sensitivity with reactivity, which is not true. The mind can be sensitive and not reactive at all. It's just that the different modes functioning. There is the sensitivity and then the mind is reactive to what is perceived. Versus there is sensitivity and there is no reactivity, so the mind sees it for what it is.
Where does the reactivity come from?
It's the lower mind, egoic. The lower mind, the egoic pattern, it reacts to other observations of the mind, perceptions of the mind, observation.
So it's constant vigilance of your mind.
Yeah. Only the mind undoes the mind itself. And that's where also sometimes spirituality, people say, they negate the whole mind. It doesn't work like that. It's so in the scriptures, Shankaracharya and other sages, they bring the analogy of the same entity that brings the cloud is the same entity that removes the cloud. The same entity that created the illusion is the same entity that it's going to undo itself and disappear into yourself.
So for us, it's actually working with the mind to develop equanimity, sattvic mind, but you talk about the sattvic mind. So that's really takes work to do that, and that takes observation, vigilance, you're constantly watching to do that. So it's
Concentration,
focus,
discriminating,
and discriminate.
inquiring.
Inquire.
So you don't develop the sattvic mind because they're already the sattva, the tamas, and the rajas are modes of the mind. They're already play. The thing is, what is more active
At that
at
moment.
any given time? So the more the mind is clear, it can discriminate. It can question, inquire, concentrate. If the mind is not clear, there is a dullness sets in. There is veiling. There is then more projection or more tiredness, or the mind is unwilling to discriminate. Like if we look at tamasic, the veiling power, the veiling power is such, we'll open in the Viveka, we'll see what we find as a translation. In the Viveka, it described that the tamas is such that even though you realize that what you believe is not real, you still believe it to be real. You know that it's not real, and that when the tamas plays itself out, you believe what you know is not real to be real. This is how tamas can be so powerful. It's like you know it's not real, yet you believe it to be real.
So
That's the
activity.
that's the
So
dullness.
a person that argues on something he doesn't
No, even.
know even,
And he knows he doesn't know, and he believes that he knows.
then you can't wake up from that except after that plays itself out.
Once you're aware of it, there is an awareness that starts to watch and see that, recognize it, which is a higher mind within you. It's like, let's say somebody identified totally with the egoic pattern of the mind. When he is exposed to the knowledge and he has interest, his desire to wake up, suddenly he will be able to watch and observe or witness that egoic pattern that before that he was identified. How is that possible? Before he totally identified, he even argued and he says, it's not playing itself within me. He listens to the knowledge, he's sincere enough, he's honest, suddenly he realized, whoa, yes, it is playing within me. So what? Did it start playing after hearing the knowledge? Of course not. Suddenly there was more illumination. More illumination, the dark can be seen. That's where the knowledge is illuminating the mind. This is why when you start to recognize that it's illuminating the mind and you're drawn to the light, you naturally want to hear more. You naturally was like leaning, it's like, oh yeah, fresh air, yeah, it's fresh food, fresh. It's not like, no, because then you haven't realized what the effect on the mind that it does. It's enlightening the mind.
Can these two activities occur at the same time?
What?
This tamas and this clarity, but they're playing out at the same time?
No.
No.
It's at any given time. The veiling and projection, they go together, right?
Yes.
Because the moment there's veiling, the mind projects. The moment it veils the rope, project a snake. I don't even see that it covered the rope.
Yeah.
Because imagine the veiling will be just this small, and the rope will be this big, and you will see the rope another end, and you won't project that it's a snake, so the veiling would not work. Usually the veiling veils it completely, right? It's not partial veiling.
Well, then I'm sorry. Awareness is observing this going on.
Yeah, awareness is
It's
witnessing,
witness-
eternal witness,
witnessing.
and illuminating
And-
everything.
and it sees this.
Yeah.
That's because it illuminates.
Yeah.
Right? So this Thomas activity is going on, but there's an aspect.
There is an awareness that illuminates.
There's an awareness observing it,
Yeah, witnessing.
witnessing it. And this witnessing it, does it alter? No.
Because it's changeless. So it's nice, the question you ask is very nice. Really what happens, instead of you identifying yourself as awareness, your identity moved to be the one who experienced the veiling and the projection. So means you are not separate from the veiling and projection because your identity is there, when in truth your identity is as awareness, yet it is forgotten. So although the witness is witnessing, you are actually forgot the witnessing. You are what is being witnessed. You identify with what being witnessed and not being the witness.
So I can't call that awareness.
Yeah.
Right.
So there is, for you, all there is your identity, what you identify with. Means and he continues in the seer and the seen, he explains the identity and how the identity, the identity apparently moved. Yet it's changeless, so it cannot move, yet because the lights permeate and it falls on the conceptual image, illuminates the conceptual image, that identity is inside the conceptual image. So that's why you as awareness identify as a conceptual image, yet awareness knows only itself. So when the conceptual image is gone, you which identify as awareness remains awareness. This is why the realization has to be, you gotta have glimpses of no mind, no thoughts, in order to realize that you are pure awareness.
Oh, that's why you need those glimpses.
Especially in the beginning, because as long as the movie is projected, even if you know that there is a screen, the screen does not reveal itself. So it's what people overlook and miss is that they think that it's like they have to get rid of the mind. The false identity has to be dissolved, and that the identity remains in its pure identification as awareness. So what happens? There might be no thought, and there's a sense of I'm still here. Yeah, because you can't get rid of that. That's the sense of I as existence.
You can't get rid of that.
No, because that sense of I is yourself. How can you get rid of yourself? And then the sense of separation appears, and they appear to be the same. So there's no ability to discriminate. Because it's I and the thought I. So it's I. Both of them appear to be identical. Yet only one is real. And the other one is just a thought, a conceptual image.